Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling a question I bet a few of you with a CompTIA A+ have wondered about.
hmm Especially if you're eyeing up cloud skills.
Exactly. Can that essential Google Cloud Infrastructure Foundation course actually count towards your A+ renewal? For the continuing education units, the CEUs.
Right. It's all about efficiency, isn't it?
Yeah.
Finding ways to learn and check that renewal box.
Totally. So we've looked at a report that really breaks down the CompTIA A rules against what this specific Google course offers.
Our goal is pretty simple, really.
Yeah, figure out if taking this course is a viable shortcut for A+ renewal. Could it save you some time, maybe even some cash?
Okay, let's jump in. First things first.
Yeah.
What does CompTIA actually need for that A+ renewal?
So the baseline is 20 CEUs
Every 3 years.
every 3 years, right?
Right.
And training courses. They can be a great way to get those CEUs. Sometimes just one course, if it's relevant enough, can cover the whole requirement.
But there's a catch, especially for courses CompTIA hasn't pre-approved.
This is the key part. For something like this Google Cloud course, which isn't on their pre-approved list, at least half, 50% of the content has to directly map back to the A+ exam objectives.
And those objectives are pretty broad, right? Foundational IT stuff.
Yeah, you're talking hardware basics, networking fundamentals, operating systems, security concepts, troubleshooting methods, the core A+ knowledge.
Plus, CompTIA also considers the cognitive level. So it's not just what topics are covered, but how deep they go.
Good point. And they don't pre-approve individual activities, so you submit it and hope it meets the criteria after you've done the work.
That 50% relevance rule, combined with the cognitive level thing, that's really the main hurdle here. CompTIA wants to make sure that continuing ed actually relates strongly to the A+ foundation.
Okay, so let's look at the course itself. Essential Google Cloud Infrastructure Foundation. Where do you find it?
Usually on Google Cloud Skills Boost, also Coursera often has it.
And level-wise?
It's generally positioned as intermediate. They often suggest you already know some cloud basics, maybe some Linux command line.
So not quite entry-level.
No, definitely assumes some prior knowledge. And the focus is very practical, very hands-on within Google Cloud.
Like using the GCP console.
Exactly. Using the console, the Cloud Shell, deploying things from their marketplace, setting up VPC networks and firewalls, but specifically Google's versions, and managing VMs with Compute Engine.
Okay, so the modules will cover like an intro to GCP.
Yep, console, projects, that sort of thing.
Then virtual networks.
VPCs, subnets, IP addressing, firewall rules, all GCP specific.
And virtual machines using Compute Engine. Got it. Now, the big question we touched on. Is this course pre-approved by CompTIA for A+ stat?
And the answer, based on the current lists, is no. This specific course isn't pre-approved for A+ CEUs.
But we found something interesting, didn't we?
We did. Other Google Cloud courses are actually on the A+ pre-approved list.
Which tells us CompTIA does look at GCP courses, but they evaluate them one by one.
Precisely. It's not a blanket no to Google Cloud. But this foundational course didn't make their cut for A+, it seems.
So why not? Let's get into the content overlap analysis. We know A+ is broad fundamentals.
Right. And when you map this Google course against those A+ domains, well, the overlap is pretty slim.
Take networking, for example.
There are concepts like IP addressing, firewalls, sure, but the Google course is all about implementing them in GCP. A+ is much broader, vendor-neutral, covers SOHO hardware. It's different.
What about virtualization and cloud itself? A+ covers the basic concepts.
Well, this Google course jumps straight into using GCP services. It's practical application versus foundational understanding.
And operating systems.
The course uses Linux, yeah, but mainly as a tool to interact with GCP. It doesn't cover the wide range of OS knowledge. A+ expects Windows, Mac OS, Linux fundamentals, command line across systems.
Okay, and then you have the really core A+ stuff. Hardware, mobile devices, general troubleshooting steps, operational procedures.
Very little, if any, overlap there. Almost none.
So putting it all together, that 50% relevance mark seems unlikely.
Highly unlikely. We estimated the overlap is probably somewhere in the maybe 25% to 35% range. It's just too specialized, too platform-specific compared to the foundational vendor-neutral A+ furrow.
Right. The focus and the cognitive level just don't align well enough.
Exactly.
So the bottom line, the main takeaway for anyone listening.
It's really improbable that CompTIA would accept this specific essential Google Cloud Infrastructure Foundation course for A+ CEUs. The content overlap just isn't there.
So If you need those A+ CEUs, what are the safer bets?
Well, CompTIA A's own CertMaster CE for A+ is designed specifically for renewal. That's probably the most straightforward option.
Okay, any others?
Earning a higher level CompTIA A cert, like Network Plus or Security Plus A, automatically renews A+A.
Ah, good point. Stacking certs.
Yeah. And like we said, check CompTIA A's pre-approved list carefully. Some other Google Cloud courses are on there, so maybe one of those fits better.
Or even smaller activities?
Definitely. Webinars, conferences, even relevant work experience can sometimes count for partial credits. You just need to document it properly according to their rules.
Okay, that's super helpful context.
Mhm.
So, wrapping up, maybe a final thought for everyone.
I'd say while learning new tech like Google Cloud is fantastic for your career, always double-check the official rules for your specific certification renewal.
Right. Make sure that time and effort you're putting into learning directly helps meet those formal requirements if that's one of your goals.
And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other popular courses might seem like a good fit for a certification renewal, but when you look closely, don't quite meet the requirements?
Ooh, yeah. A good question to ponder. Food for thought until our next deep dive.